Hey guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lew. Coming to you live from Studio 700 at Revitalize Life Fitness and Life Coaching. Coach Lew will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the body, the energy, and success you deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lew.
Good morning, guys. It is Coach Lew coming to you live here, Studio 700, Revitalize Life Fitness, Longwood, Florida. Oh my God, what am I coming to talk to you about this morning? This is going to be the one thing that everybody has, not everybody wants, everybody needs, but not too much of, and that is that four-letter prefix word called stress. You can imagine what my prefix F word is for stress. It is one of society's biggest challenges. It is one of everybody's underlying biggest obstacles in life. And let me tell you, it is becoming epidemic in proportion. And that is scary, guys. Stress and stress management should be the key words to everybody's life right now. In figuring out how to deal with this five-letter word that is worse than any four-letter word that you could be using or dealing with. This thing called stress is just downright dangerous to your psychology, your physical health, your relationships, your business, your motivation, your energy, your body. It is just one of the most dangerous things we're dealing with in society and life today. And with all the technology and everything that we've come across to change all of this, and guess what? It creates more effing stress. You know, I logged into my system this morning and I've been having some stress though, and here's something cool, and we're going to wrap around to this. There's been some stresses with the software and the ability to stream to the places I want to all at the same time, and boom, 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 boom. Well, there's an update to my studio software. And guess what? 5 out of 6 of my major hurdles were solved like that this morning. How did that take my stress level down? Especially after not sleeping well last night. Lost a lot of sleep last night, and it's got to be stress, even though I couldn't pinpoint it while I'm laying there looking at the ceiling going, can't go to sleep. Well, fell asleep, woke back up. And this is why we're going to talk about some of the different forms of stress, because I'm sitting there going, there's nothing really stressing me out. I'm a little bit excited about the show today. I'm excited about a good week coming up. And I'm going, all right. And I'm going, you know what? There is some stress. There's different levels, different types, and there's good stress and bad stress. So we're going to delve into this a little bit this morning. Are you ready for this? You're ready to get into a little bit about stress. We're going to talk about what stress is. We're going to talk about what it does to you. We're going to talk about what it can do for you. And then we're going to talk about the difference between stress reduction and stress relief, or stress management and stress relief, you might call it, depending on, where you're going with that. So really excited about this morning, though, guys, because let me share a little something here. When it came time, and I'm at CEU time again, and I'm getting another certification because I need to get in my CEUs to hold my current ones. That time of year does get a little stressful. It's extra work. I love learning, don't get me wrong, but this is the time of year where all of our state licenses, local licenses, um, insurance renewals, all this stuff pops up, and we have a lot of stress at a time I should be getting excited because, oh, I get to learn something new. So a few years back, I'm like, what am I going to take my CEUs here for? And I got a little selfish. I was like, you know what? Let me do my CEUs in something that maybe can benefit me as well as benefit others. I was like, let's work with this. So sure enough, it did. I went and got my certified stress management coach certification. It was stressful as shit to do it. I didn't have a lot of time. I really wanted to delve into it for personal and, professional reasons. And it was stressful. And I'm like, you know what? This is so important because this affects so many people. But I did have a little bit of an internal agenda there because I need to manage my own stress better. And am I going to tell you that just taking the course fixed it all? No, but it makes me more aware. The other side to this is also stress comes back to you in different forms. And we're going to talk about those different forms. So if you get over one stressful situation, you go, hey, I'm stress free. Bullshit. Something else is going to come at you, and it's going to be tougher and tougher and tougher because God's got a way of giving you a little thump on the head. If you're not growing yourself, He's going to give you some growth. And sometimes when you don't want some growth, but that can be stressful in itself. So, what is stress? Stress is emotion, right? Or is it physiological? Stress is both, because emotions are nothing more than physiological storms in the body that trigger certain physical responses, which trigger emotional responses. Great prime example for you. Feed a kid sugar and try to put them to bed. Oh my God, you hear this grandparents, I'm going to sugar them up before I give them back to mom and dad. Or spouses that are split, I'm going to sugar them up before I take them back and let her or him deal with this. And they don't realize what they're doing to their children, number one. But number two, there's living proof that physiologically stress can be created by what you eat, what you intake, what you breathe, you hear, you drink. And it can be created in the head and in the heart by worry and this, that, and the other. And stress sucks, guys. Let me tell you, it can save your life in certain situations. It can give you motivation in others. But you really got to look at this part here. And this is something you really got to delve into and go, you know what? I'm gonna really work on this stress thing. So I'm going to give you a definition of the good and the bad stress real quick to start out, so we've got something to work with. I hope you have a notebook, or you can sit down later and review this because it will be posted up on the site on our blog at revitalizelife.com to really review and dig in. There's two different kinds of stress. The positive is what we call eustress. And you think, oh, I'm creating it? No, it's eustress if you're writing it down. Eustress is positive stress on the body or the emotions, like exercising. It is a stressor. It's a physical stressor. It does put stress on the body. Or you're going to do something new and exciting. You're going to get in front of a crowd and talk, but you want to do that, but it's new and exciting. And that's a positive stress. Now, if you're scared to death of getting up in front of a crowd, that is distress, which is your negative stress. Distress. You're in distress. Your body's in distress. Your emotions are in distress. So eustress is like, hey, this is mine. This is excitement. Or this is a good physical stress on my body. Distress is fear, anxiety, worry, something, emergency comes up. So that with that basic description out of the way for you should give you an idea. So eustress or distress, to recognize what it is initially. If it's eustress, run with it, enjoy it, grow, swim in it. If it's distress, find something to diffuse it, to make it into eustress, if that makes sense. So one of the other things, and this is kind of what leads into this, because I don't always talk about eustress and distress or distress. What I do talk about is the physiological similarities of stress and excitement. So that is there. So this is going to follow up on that. So physiologically in your body, stress and excitement are very, very similar. It stimulates your adrenaline. It stimulates your dopamine. It just is, whether it's stress, you're usually connecting a negative connotation to it, where if it's excitement, you're putting a positive connotation. Oh my God, I got to go talk in front of this crowd. I'm going to die. Rather than, I'm going to go light this crowd up. This is awesome. Yeah, you got that same butterfly physiological response, but you've got a positive connotation rather than, oh my God, I'm going to die getting in front of this crowd. Do you see where that could affect your body differently? And it does release a few different hormones, but in general, it is the same hormonal response, whether it's the excitement or it's stress. So pretty crazy stuff, because you find out where the mind connects into there in your soul and your being as to how you manifest the same physiological response. Do you link it to your strong faith and beliefs and excitement about, facing a challenge? Or do you link it to, disaster and worry and stress? What connotation do you put on it? So there's emotional stress, there's physical stress, like we talked about in the eustress. Physical exercise is a eustress, where emotional stress can be distress unless it's emotional excitement. So what causes stress? Well, we said it's a physiological response to a positive or negative connotation to a situation, an action, or something that happened. Now, there's external stress. You're driving down the road and there's a car crash in front of you, and you get stressed out, and your body starts producing all this adrenaline and stuff to help or whatever. And then there's the cause of stress that's internal. I'm worried, I might be in trouble, I might have done something wrong at work, I might get yelled at, I might lose my job, I might this. It's that buildup inside your own head. Or my spouse has been acting a little differently lately. Maybe they're divorcing me, or something's wrong in my relationship, or as opposed to your spouse is walking up the stairs and trips and slides and falls. There's that immediate stress of, oh my God, let me help them. Are they okay? That's an external stress. Oh my God, they're kind of quiet today. Maybe they're upset with me, or my marriage is ending, which is a worrisome stress. And we're going to get right into the differences of these stresses and what they're called, and give you a quick brief. And there's a lot more to it, guys, that I'm going to get into today. But I want you to walk away from this with a basic understanding of what stress is, what it does for you, and how you can offset it or help to eliminate a portion of it. You're never going to eliminate all stress until you're dead. And dying is not a good excuse to, eliminate stress. So here it is. Acute stress. Acute is dealing with major life experiences that do tend to dissipate over time. That car crash happens in front of you. Your spouse gets hurt, one of your kids gets hurt, and you get called to go to the emergency room. But, in a perfect world, thank God they heal up, cast for a few weeks or a few months. And, you go after the fact, you kind of laugh it off and go, oh God, I was so worried that day. I was so stressed. but they dissipate with time. That's a situational, that's a stress we all deal with. A family member passes away, that is an acute stress in this situation where, at some point you process that, you deal with it, and you're okay. But we're going to get back to a situation like that where that might not be the case. That might not be an acute stress. Episodic stress is that stress that tends to lead to anxiety and worry. That's generally a lot of times internal. Episodic, you would think it has to do with one episode, but it doesn't. It's that worry, anger, it manifests a lot of times and you're angry, you're irritable, you're just stressed out because of everything going on. And, you have that, it's more of a constant stress, and it's underlying, and sometimes you can't quite put your finger on it, and it can be a combination of things, but the episodic stress is a little bit more of an internalized stress, where acute stress generally is an external, unless it's something that happens to you. You get in the car accident. That's an acute stress that generally dissipates with time. So episodic stress would be, something like you're in a car accident. After the acute stress goes away, you're nervous about driving. That's episodic. Physical activity is one of the best counteractions for episodic stress. Makes you feel better, and I will attest to this one. I can be going through an episodic stress day, which has to do with creating some things we're working on and some other things, and just lots of stuff going on, having an extra child temporarily or permanently, we're never sure, and all that goes along with that. That's episodic. That's a continual stress that definitely feels better. I get out and go for a run, and I'm like, wow, I can feel like my chest is going to explode, my head's going to explode. I get out of the office, go do my run for the day, or go do my workout, and I feel like $1,000,000. And I come up with the concept that I've been saying this a lot lately. And the more physically active I am, the better I feel. And it's not in the overall that, I'm getting physically fitter. It's relieving some of that adrenaline and some of the other, hormones that are released in the body that are creating this episodic stress. It's annoying. It makes me irritable. Then there's chronic stress that generally has nothing to do with just your current situation, like today's situation. It's the overall lifestyle. Somebody with a chronic disease where, they're dealing with this day in, day out. Somebody who's living in poverty and has continual money issues. A lot of times you'll notice chronic stress manifests in low self-esteem, depression, having an acute illness. A very bad illness can do this to people. It has to do with overall life conditions, but it's chronic. It's, never going to get out of this hole. There's never enough month at the end of the money, or never enough money at the end of the month. And, and that we can't seem to fix this, or I've got this terminal illness or this illness I can't get over. And it just, it's that chronic, constant stress of the overall life scenario. Now, I mentioned a example earlier of acute stress of losing a loved one. See, that can be an acute stress where it dissipates with time. It doesn't mean you forget about your loved one. It doesn't mean that you decide that they don't matter, or, it doesn't matter as much about what happened. What it does mean is that you process in everyday life, and, you heal. Some people don't. It becomes a chronic stress to where they can't get past that. And it's an everyday stress where, they've lost their loved one, and every single day it's just overwhelming to them. That's the chronic stress. So that could, in that example, that's why I said we'll get back around to that, because I wanted to address that. And you're like, dear God, Lew, come on. This is a lot of almost feels like a lot of negativity. Well, let me tell you, stress is an effing negative thing that's eating away at our lives and creating the negativity. So, yes, this is not a hoorah, yay session yet this morning. It's a lot of truth to be dug up about what the fuck's really going on with us. Oh, I said it. I said the bad word, but it's true. If you find yourself irritable, cranky, you physically don't feel good, you're not sleeping right, you got heart racy stuff, you got physical stuff going on, you're going to the doctor all the time, you can almost guarantee that there's stress affecting you. So, long story short, stress affects our hormones, thus affecting our energy, attitude, health, physical health, and mental wellness all together. And when all those start to get out of whack, that creates more stress. It's a self-fulfilling, what do you call it? The infinity eight. It just keeps on and on and on. One leads to the other, and creates more till you're in this infinity crazy eight scenario. And it feels like there's no way out, which creates that chronic stress, which basically will take your health, your energy, and your emotional health down. It'll eat away at your relationships, it'll tear down your business, it'll tear down your abilities, and it will tear down your body. So, is stress important? Heck, yes. So, I've mentioned the difference of stress reduction or stress relief. People are like, well, if it gets rid of stress, it's the same thing. No. Stress reduction is kind of like preparation, not H. Well, no, preparation H is a Band-Aid for a hemorrhoid. Preventing it in the first place would be the thing to do. Don't sit on cold concrete. Don't strain, lift right, I know this is not about hemorrhoids, but giving you a good analogy, don't do the stuff that would cause a hemorrhoid in the first place is your stress reduction. The preparation H is your stress relief. Your preparation is your stress reduction. So, stress reduction, let's talk about that. How can you reduce your stress? You say, I can't. I've got a stressful job. I'm a first responder. Okay, that's stressful, but let me ask you a question. Why did you get in the first responder business in the first place? The excitement, generally, the desire to help, but some people can help without all that stress and excitement. So remember to put that positive connotation back on, and very difficult for many first responders. That's why they have such what becomes chronic stress or episodic stress, because there seems to be no way out of it. It's not acute stress. Acute stress is the initial that respond to that scenario, and then you can get over it. The episodic is where it just kind of builds up to where those little pieces of you are missing. If you're a first responder, you know what I'm talking about. But the chronic stress is where you're burned out. You just, it's at that point where you don't even feel it anymore, but you're just burned. So stress reduction in the form of mental focus, physical, and planning and setting up your environment to win. If you're always late for work because you can't find your fucking car keys, put your damn car keys on a hook right by the door that says car keys. Oh, well, that would relieve a lot of stress in the morning. If you never have enough time in the morning, get the hell up 15 minutes early. Oh, well, I don't get enough sleep as it is. You might get more sleep if you're not so stressed out about having to get up and rush in the morning. Take that first 15 minutes for you. Set a morning routine that works, that makes you feel great about your day. And you go, oh, my stress level came down. Yeah, because you're not stressed out, run, fighting. And, if you hit some extra traffic, if you leave 5 or 10 minutes early, you still get to where you're going on time. Or you might get there generally early, but you might have stress about that. Well, I don't want to get to the meeting early because then I got to deal with people. Well, okay, take that extra 5 minutes you got there early and do a little meditation or a little prayer that'll put you in a less stressful state to go in, or prime yourself for that meeting or whatever it is you need to do, or pride yourself on being the person that does walk in early and people go, hey, you're really dedicated. You see where I'm going with this? I don't know which one works for you. What I do know is I'm offering you options to be able to reduce that stress in the first place. Yes, I'm drinking my green water. Reducing that stress in the first place by planning, by scheduling, by changing the association you have to the quote unquote stress. Because a lot of times stress is made up. It's that internal stress that'll eat you up. The external stresses, the physical stresses, that initial acute stress where something happens and you boom, that's okay. It's a lot easier to recover from than that continual stress that takes you down and starts to destroy your self-esteem, your body, and your energy. So stress reduction, put stuff in order. Organize your planner, organize your computer, organize your schedule, have different calendars. Yeah, initially you're going to have to do some extra work to put this stuff together. Coach with me on some time management and some time creation tools. Woohoo! Let me tell you, that's a great stress reliever. See, I told you this wasn't going to be all negative. Initially, you got to put some extra effort in, yes, but the rewards are amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you know what? While I'm producing this and providing you with this information, I'm making distinctions for myself, because this stress thing is not a one-time hammer it over the head and you fix it. It is a process. It is preparation, but it's worth it, guys. When you reduce that stress, your body heals, your soul heals, your energy heals, your mind heals. So how about certain stresses we can't get around? There's going to be stress in life. If you drive to work and you live in a major city, or even not a major city, you're going to have some stresses. There's going to be idiots on the road. There's going to be traffic jams. There's going to be traffic light malfunctions, accidents, stuff that hold you up. There's going to be people you deal with at work that are not on your level of thinking. There might be even people that are out to sabotage your career or sabotage something in your life or your business or your marriage. There are outside factors, but sometimes you're sabotaging from the inside too. So there's going to be stress. We're going to deal with stresses, even if we've set it all up and we've set up for stress reduction. You're going to get that stress that you really can't do anything about, that acute stress generally. Your episodic stress and your chronic stress, you should be kind of have some tools already to be going, oh yeah, just some distinctions there where you can begin to deal with that and reduce it. The acute stress, that situational, oh my God, something just happened. We can't always prepare for that, but you can prepare yourself, and then you can go into a stress relief mode. What do you do for stress relief? A lot of people go, oh, I had a long day at work, or my God, it was really tough. And again, I'll use first responders as an example. Had a tragic day today, saw a child killed or severely injured. And that's my heart goes out, my heart breaks. You're dealing with this and you're giving your life to this type of environment, but my God, what do you do for you? And a lot of people are, well, I have a cigarette and I have a beer, or I get drunk when I go home and get totally obliterated so I don't think about it. That's not stress relief, because that's causing physical, emotional, and mental stress, because then you're like, oh, I shouldn't be an alcoholic, I shouldn't smoke, and I feel like shit, and now I got to get up and do it all over again. So that might not be a great example of stress relief. Some great examples of stress relief could really be get a massage, talk to a coach, talk to a therapist, work some of this stuff out. Don't live in the negative. That's the thing I love about being a coach. We spend 5% on the challenge of the time and 95 or 90% on the solution and the positives, where sometimes in, therapy, people spend a lot of time going back over and over and over that initial stressor, and it takes you back to that, and that creates more stress. Now, Am I saying that therapy and psychology never helps? No, not at all. I mean, there's every case is different. What I am offering you as a coaching alternative is to really focus on the solutions and the positive and how to take what happened and create something more positive out of it rather than revisiting the what happened a whole lot. So everything has its place, and I'm not knocking therapists or psychologists or psychiatrists because, there are great people that have helped in all aspects. I'm partial to coaching because it's much faster generally and much more solution based, quicker. So that's my love for coaching so much there. So stress relief, you could get with your coach, get with your therapist. You could do a physical activity, do something fun. You could go for a massage, get acupuncture, meditate, pray, go to church, get excited, go for a walk in the woods. Do something that relieves the effects of the stress that came upon you. So you see the biggest difference there where I'm talking about stress reduction is the preemptive, let's handle it before the stress is created. And that works amazing in the episodic and the chronic stress. Whereas in acute stress, you don't have as much control, but where you control and it's more the internalized side of the stress reduction is amazing. Stress relief really helps with the stress that you cannot necessarily control or it's external. You can control what it means to you, how you react to it, but it can still be stressful. So that in the case of an acute stress relief is great, but make sure that stress relief, number one is not creating more stress. Drinking and becoming an alcoholic because you're stressed out about your job or, the things you got to deal with or your relationship or your children or whatever the case is. Or some people get stressed out because they watch the news about shit going on somewhere else and they internalize all that and it becomes their problem. Some people take it way too far, but stress relief in the form of something positive, prayer, meditation. And I'm not trying to go all woo-woo on you or all, boom, I'm going to thump you over the head and make the sign of the cross and shove something at you that you go, hey, that's not my stress relief thing. And, I may have a different belief than you, and I respect that. Go to your creator. Your creator doesn't have to be named the same as mine for you to get comfort and stress relief. Many people call God or their creator or their universe or however they refer to that situation by a different name, but in general, it's a comfort, a love, a peace, a way of teaching better treatment of others. Most religions honestly have a lot of parallels except for a lot of terminology and names and ways that they're practiced. But go to your go to your spiritual side, no matter how you term that. And some people are like, well, that's not really that's great, and I connect, but that's not where I get most of my stress relief. When I go run, I get it. Well, if you don't think there's a spiritual connection when you're doing something physical and fun, there is. But you're manifesting it in a different way. And physical is a great way of stress reduction, whether it's to go out and run your butt off or work out hard or play a sport hard or, drive your car fast. And, well, maybe not on the highway, but go do it on a test track somewhere. Or maybe it is the Zen woo-woo, sit in a room and, meditate and be very quiet and deep breathe and everything else. And I love that too. Don't get me wrong. I love all aspects of stress relief and each one has its place. And when you learn to use multiple avenues of stress relief, massage is one of the greatest, unless your massage therapist never shuts up. Been there, done that, where it's like, oh my God, really, I'm here to relax. And sometimes not. Sometimes you are talkative during a massage or, other treatment like, acupuncture or something, because that's part of the stress relief. So definitely exciting there. as I'm catching notifications from my streaming software as I'm watching that. If you notice, once in a while I get a little distraction there because I don't want to stress out by not being able to deliver the message to you. So I've got to make sure that we're on and you're hearing me and it's not going and digital blurt and all that stuff. So really exciting. By the way, if anybody wants to recommend a great assistant who's good with computer stuff, good with sales, etc., and has any experience in the fitness and life coaching industry or around the auction business, let me know. We are looking to add on a staff member, and our team out here our group out here may have that right person for us. So sorry about that little commercial, but getting that relief from the stress you can avoid in the stress relief arena and preempting the relief of stress and pre-planning to reduce it is in the stress reduction is where it's all at. And you're probably going, Coach, if you don't be quiet and let us off this production this morning, I'm going to go ahead and have stress because I want to finish this. Don't forget, you can always watch a replay. If you're walking into work and you don't want to fight with the boss because you're late, or if you do want to fight with the boss because you're late, that's okay too. Blame me. Tell me you had your coach on and there's bugs flying around. And that's truth, not hallucination. So are we with us on this? So basically, stress reduction prevents it. Stress relief reverses or reduces the damage of stress. If anybody wants to do a quick call in with a question, 321-972-3295 before we close up. Show for the morning, it's 321-972-3295 if you do want to do a quick call in. I'll hang here for a second just to see. We can do that. We're going to start doing that. I encourage live calls and call-ins. Please message me, inbox me, call me, email me, whatever it is, with any questions or anything that you have that's really pressing in your life that you'd like to theme one of our shows on. And I don't need to necessarily say, hey, it was Joe, Dave, Sam, Denise, Diane, Jen, Herman, whoever that needed this show. But we can theme this stuff. If there's something really going on that you need, let me know. Again, you can definitely visit back with me here. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, live with faith, energy, passion. Always live your dream. This is Coach Lew signing off. Have an amazing day, guys, and get to work on that stress scenario.